Hi there, welcome back to the Feather Nest. So I have the last batch of dewberries for the season, and I figured I would take y'all along on how I go about turning them into jam. To me, jam is the easiest of the three. Well, the best, I guess you could say. Jelly is the hardest. Preserves is the easiest because you're just going to smash up the whole berry and put the whole thing in there. But jam is almost close to that. We're going to sieve it out once, and then we'll turn it into the jam, which is like a soft set jelly, which is the best. Anyway, so first off we have our picked berries. Let me switch you around. Okay, so we have our berries. These I started to wash. These have not been washed at all. And I'm going to go through that in just a second. So I'm getting my canning bucket out, filling it up. I'm going to put it on the stove and get it heating up while I start the process. If you're like me, you can cheat. Jars the night before go in the dishwasher to be sanitized, or you can wash them by hand and then boil them on the stove. That will also work, and that also sanitizes them. We're going to pull out all of the ingredients that we need, and I'll be back for the next step. Okay, so next step. This is how I like to do it. It makes it kind of easy to get out all the leaves and sticks and everything that you get with dewberries or any wild picked berry that you're going to do. Let me turn it around. So a colander inside the bowl to hold the water. And then you kind of just bounce it around a little. Use your hand. And the leaves and the sticks kind of float to the top, and you can pick them out. And throw them over the side. And get out as much as you can. You will not be able to get out everything. That's just impossible. But you get out what you can. It's hard to do. And I will just do it in batches. You don't want to put too many in here because then they'll float over the edge. So that bottom one keeps the water level up so that it rises all the trash to the top. Alright, I'm going to finish the rest of these and I'll be back. Alright, next step, we have our washed berries. Let me put a towel down here. Please excuse the mess. I'm also making bread at the moment. Okay, we're going to take our berries and we're going to put them into the blender. And since they're fresh washed, I don't let them like drain off very long because they're nice and full of water. So we're going to put them in the blender. You can fill up the blender about 3/4 the way full. And we are going to just pulverize them. Okay, I did have to add just a little bit of water, probably 1/3 of a cup, just to get it going because it's super thick. I am going to keep adding berries and blending until it is pretty full, as full as I can get it. Okay, so next part, we are going to pour it. I have my empty bowl. I have a sieve. Dollar Tree. I'm gonna pour some about halfway. And then this is how I get it to go through for jam. Basically, I'm banging everything out but the seeds. A few seeds will get through, but mostly they stay in the sieve. once you get done with that, you'll see how it gets down to nothing but seeds. I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so we have kind of like this sludge. There's no more juice. It's all down there. And I'm just going to keep doing that until it's all gone. And keep washing berries until it is all processed into this bowl. I will save this and either feed it right back to the chickens because it is delicacy to them, or dehydrate it and put it in. Sometimes I make like a healthy chicken seed mix. So sometimes it gets dehydrated, put into that, or sometimes it just gets thrown out there as it is. But either way, the chickens end up with the goodness at the end, all the gunk. Alright, we've got it all separated out, and there is so much here. I'm going to split it and give the chickens half of it now and freeze for another day, the other half. And then this is our juice and pulp that is going to get used for our jam. So next part, I'm going to measure all of this out. As I measure it, I'll keep track of how much I have, and I'm going to put it directly in to my jelly pot. And then we'll see how much sugar it's going to need. So that's what happens when you set it out for the chickens. They'll have it gone in just a few minutes. Alright, so I use Sure Gel, and I follow the recipe for Dewberries, and it is actually on here, right there. So, for every 5 cups, you're going to need 7 cups of sugar. It works out to 1.4 per cup of your, whatever you want to call it, pulp. But I would not make more than 2 batches at one time. I had a total of 8 cups. I had to add just a smidge of water to get it to 8 cups, but that's fine. We're going to boil it off. So I had 8 cups of our juice, and then I am going to add the 7 cups of sugar plus my other 4 cups. It's actually 4.4, so we're going to say 4.5. Just under 4.5 for that extra. And then because I am doing almost like we're way over 1 batch here, so I will be using 2 of these at a time. I also will put in an orange peel, and I'll show you. That's my little secret ingredient. I'll show it to you in just a second. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. The little cutie oranges, have them all the time. We're just going to take the peel off. I try to get it off in one, but you know, that doesn't always happen. Almost. Anyway, this is going to go in now. I'm going to squeeze the juice of this in now. Carefully. Comes back at me. Okay. Good as we can do. Throw that in the garbage disposal. Make it smell good. Okay, so our Sure Gel is also, I like to, it says to put the Sure Gel in the beginning. I like to go ahead and get this boiling. Once you see it boiling, I put this Sure Gel in. I let mine boil down for quite a while. You can almost see it change consistency. I will show you on video if I can of what I mean by that. But right now, let me switch you around. Okay, so I'm going to put it on a little over medium. And we are going to let it come to temp. Don't always know where my spoons have gone to. Okay, so there. You can see the consistency right now. Like you can see the texture to it. You can see the different pieces, I guess you would say. Anyway, that orange peel is down in there. There it goes. We will fish it out before we put the sugar in, which is at the end. So for right now, we're going to let this come to temp. And I'll be back. Okay, so now is also a good time. Now is also a good time to get out that shallow pan and get it going on warm. This is just for the lids to heat up that wax seal so that they will seal correctly when you put them on. They need to be warm. So we have our big pot going. So this one is where our cans are going to go. It's not even boiling yet. You can tell it's not even hot yet. But it needs to get going. That's what we're going to can it in. I'm going to put this one on with a little bit of water and get it warm. I'm not going to put the lids in yet. And, ooh, it's hard to do backwards. It's just starting to bubble. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes and I had to turn up the heat a little bit on my stove. So anyway, you can see it is foaming up now. Got a little bit of a bubble going. You can see all the foam though. This is why you have to have a tall pot. And I'm going to turn it up just a little bit more. I want this to be a full rolling boil. And it's not quite there yet. It's getting there. And this is just the berries. And the orange peel is down in there still. He's right there. Just let that marinate. Alright, now we're boiling. You can see how high it has gotten in the pot. That's why this tall pot is important. But also I have almost like a batch and a half in here, so most of the time you only do one batch at a time. You don't have to stir it consistently, but I like to scrape the sides and mix it up a little every now and then. You're gonna give it about 5 more minutes. So I guess that'd be about 15 total. Close. It just depends. You have to watch it. I mean, you're not gonna overcook it unless you just walked away and forgot it forever. There's no sugar in it yet to burn, other than the natural sugar in the berries. But we have not added our granular sugar yet. Alright, be back in a few minutes. Okay, you can see how the foam has really died down. We've lost like that much. Back to normal down there. It's still a full rolling bubble. We are going to turn it down. Back to kind of where I started. And I'm going to add both packages of pectin and stir them in until I cannot see any lumps anymore. Oh, I forgot. First, I'm going to take out the orange, which may require off-camera action. I think so. Okay, so take out your orange peel. Then we're going to add our pectin. Like I said, I'm doing more than one batch, so that is why I'm adding 2 packages. Okay, we've put in both the packages. Start it up, let it boil for a couple minutes, and you can tell, I don't know if you can see the difference necessarily, but it's thicker. You can feel it for sure. I think you can see it. It looks like a watered down jam at this point. But it's just because it's so hot. Alright, so now I'm going to pour in all that sugar. All that sugar. And we are going to stir it up and let it come back to a boil for just a minute. But back to a boil like this. The rolling boil. So not just the light boil, but let it come all the way back to the rolling boil, and then you're going to take it off the heat. Okay, let's see if I can set this down. Ooh, it's heavy. So much sugar. You're going to stir, because the sugar is just lumpy. You're going to have to, it'll melt as it heats up. You can't stir out all the lumps, but you can get out the big ones. And it instantly changes the way this looks. Let me show you. See how glossy it is now? That sugar in there. See how I still have sugar lumps. And they will heat up and they'll melt. And it'll be just fine. Make sure there's none stuck to the bottom. And that's a big lump. So let's squish it. I got some on my spoon too. There we go. Okay, we're going to let this come back to the boil like I showed you. Is that orange peel? Oh, that's a piece of orange peel. Okay. Take it out. Garbage disposal. Make it smell good later. Okay, so I have my jars ready to go. I'm going to lay my napkin out and set my jars out and get them ready to pour into. So this is the time where you grab all of that good stuff. Feels like there's sugar at the bottom right there. Okay. Be right back. Alright, so we're just waiting on it to boil. You see how glassy it looks now. You can also see it start to gel on the top there. But it has to come back to that boil. Got the lids heating up. This water's hot. On high, ready to go. Got our jars. Make sure you have something underneath. Wherever jelly touches, it's going to stain. Anywhere. Anywhere. Our rings out here, ready to go. You only have to put the flat parts in the warm water. Boil, baby, boil. Oh, I saw that. Got a little action starting. I did turn it back up to medium high. And we're still waiting. It's getting there. Very slowly. Alright, we're back at a rolling boil. That we're going to turn it off. Take it off the heat. And it's time to put it in your jars. If you have one of these for canning, you'll notice if you fill it up, when you're filling up your jar, if you fill it up to the bottom of this, whatever on the inside, if you fill it up to that, that's the level it's supposed to be at. And then that's as full as it's supposed to be. But that tells you how much room to leave if you just fill it up to the bottom of this opening in each jar. All right. And so on.